Okay, well, I got 5:30, so we're going to go ahead and get started. It's getting kind of packed in here. By Venus's count, there's over 100 folks in here already. I'm sure there's going to be a couple more that are going to straggle in. If y'all would try to make them a place to seat, if y'all kind of move toward the middle, we'd appreciate it. So we'll go ahead and get started. It's now time to call our meeting of the Bullitt County Board of Commissioners to order. I would like to welcome the media and visitors. I would also like to remind everyone to silence their cell phones and other devices so that we may conduct the people's business without interruption. Commissioner Nick Newkirk, will you give us the invocation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Let us pray. Thank you for bringing us together today. We ask that you watch over our servicemen and women who defend this great nation. In light of the new developments in the Middle East, we pray for their protection, courage, clarity as they serve around the world. Surround them and their families with your peace and strength. Grant us wisdom and discernment as we make decisions for the citizens of Bullitt County. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Miss Mincy White, will you call the roll of commissioners, please?
I, Venus Mincy White, present as Clerk of the Board of Commissioners of Bullitt County, hereby call the roll for those on the governing body. All those present shall answer by saying aye. Chairman David Bennett.
Aye.
Vice Chairman Anthony Simmons.
Aye.
Commissioner Ray Mosley.
Aye.
Commissioner Toby Connor.
Aye.
Commissioner Nick Newkirk. Commissioner Timmy Rushing.
Aye.
Commissioner Ray Davis. I have determined that we have all members of the Board of Commissioners present. Therefore, we have a quorum to conduct business for the good of the citizens of Bullitt County. I now yield the floor back to you, Chairman.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the family of Coach Fred William Shaver to come to the front of the room, please. Now, I'm going to let them introduce themselves if they want, because I told them, I said that beyond about 3 of you, I'll forget your names and I'll name you something crazy. So we'll just start right here. And
I'm Jim Starling, Fred Shaver's grandson.
Harris Starling,
Linda Starling,
Jim Shaver, Bill Shaver,
Robin Shaver,
Trey Shaver.
Mary Bowie.
Ed Bowie.
And before we get started this evening, we just wanted to take a minute and just remember everything that Coach Shaver has done for our community and the contributions he's made, given that he passed last week. So we've got a proclamation here that's been signed by all the commissioners. And thank you. It says, Fred William Shaver Jr. graduated from the University of North Alabama and began his coaching career in 1959. In 1966, he took over a brand new football program at Southeast Bullock High School that had gone 0-11 in its inaugural season. Within 5 years, the Yellow Jackets were state runners in 1971 and state champions in 1972 and 73. Coach Shaver compiled a 76-46-6 record during his tenure as head coach. Coach Shaver served as assistant principal, a math teacher, head varsity baseball coach, and coach of the girls' basketball teams. After coaching and teaching, Coach Shaver transitioned into administration, serving as Assistant Superintendent for the Bullitt County Board of Education from 1974 until 1992. Altogether, he dedicated 35 years of service to to Georgia's public school systems. Coach Shaver spent 34 years in the Georgia Army National Guard as a field artillery officer, rising through the ranks from second lieutenant to brigadier general. Coach Shaver is a steady presence, a servant leader, and shining light in and out of the athletics arena, and whose influence will continue to shape our school and community for generations to come. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Bullitt County Board of Commissioners recognize the memory and legacy of Coach Fred Shavers and join our community in mourning his passing and honor his passing and honor his years of extraordinary service. We just want to say thank y'all. So, So I'm going to ask the commissioners to come down here. We're going to get a picture real quick, but I just want to say that, you know, men that are made of the metal of your father, grandfather, that's not common. And we don't have many of them around any. So he was a true gem, and we lost him. It's very humbling to me to know, as a brigadier general, nobody called him General Shaver. They called him Coach Shaver. So thank y'all. So we're just going to take all direction from Dow at this point.
We could get some of y'all to come around to the side.
Mr. Chairman,
Get everybody in front of this podium. Y'all come in front of it, around this way.
Dan, would you rather have us down there, or you rather?
Come on down.
I knew you were going.
3 on one side, 3 on the other. And let's see. Cut to the middle with it.
They always make me do this, so I put all the glitter up here.
Check your in.
No, sir. That's all right.
You all dressed up in coat and tie. Get in him somewhere where you can see the camera.
Brought a wide angle phone with me today. Got it.
This is y'all's to keep.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
I don't want to shake your hand. I've been sick. I don't want to get you sick. Thank y'all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next thing on the agenda here, we're going to do a presentation and discussion on impact fees. And I'm going to turn the floor over to Mr. James Pope.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioners, good evening. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce to you our development impact fee consultant, Ms. Paige Hatley of Hatley Plans LLC. And to be brief on my part, this is the kickoff portion of the impact fee study, in which we are here to provide you all with information and obtain feedback from the public if they have any questions. We'll have time for that. So again, I said I'll be brief. So Ms. Paige Hatley here.
Thank you, James, and good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. Appreciate your time this evening. This is the first official step or action in the preparation of a development impact fee study. For folks in the audience who aren't aware, development impact fees are a one-time fee collected from new development to help pay for certain public facilities that are needed to serve and accommodate that growth and development. We look out 20 years is our planning horizon. The Georgia Department of Community Affairs, or DCA, mandates that communities that are preparing impact fee studies to look at the potential for adopting such a program need to first have a preliminary public hearing. And so that's the reason for tonight's brief overview presentation leading into that hearing. Specifically, on the next slide, the DCA says that the meeting or the purpose of the public hearing is to brief the public on the process for preparing an impact fee study, to provide an overview of public input opportunities, and then finally, if there are any public comments, any initial feedback, folks have ideas about capital project needs pertaining to the public facility categories that the county has elected to study, tonight is an opportunity for that. And by that, we mean parks and recreation, library services, public safety, and road improvement projects. More specifically, as the next slide shows, by public safety, that's inclusive of a number of subcategories: emergency management services, law enforcement, animal control, fire protection. On the next slide, we summarize the scope of the impact fee studies. So I mentioned that there are public facility categories that were on the previous slides that are being studied. Well, more specifically, what are the actual projects that are going to be looked at? So an impact fee study based on projected growth over the coming decades looks at, well, what are additional projects or public facilities that are going to be needed to serve future growth? Typical project examples include additional recreation components, how many additional playgrounds, how many additional miles of multi-use trails are going to be needed to serve future residents, additional library materials. Building projects are a common example. Again, we're talking about expanding building footprints, expanding the fleet of heavy vehicles that have a service life of at least 10 years. Everything is about creating capacity to keep pace with the demands of future growth and development, expanding services, expanding public facilities, whether it's a satellite library location, whether it's an additional fire station, or expanding certain existing buildings. Heavy vehicles I touched on, most traditionally, you think of ambulances, fire trucks. And then certain road projects. They have to be projects that create capacity. So we're not looking at maintenance projects, can't fill potholes using impact fees, can't pave roads. But by state law, what are the type of road improvements that are getting additional cars on the road or facilitating additional traffic? More people come in, that means more cars. So think road widening projects, road extension projects, major intersection improvement projects. Next slide, please. The process to undertake an impact fee study includes two formal components. The first is a capital improvements element, or CIE. That's the project-based document that identifies the additional public facilities that are going to be needed to serve future growth over the coming decades. How to pay for those projects and calculating a fee that is going to be or could be used to help pay for the projects identified in the CIE is addressed in an impact fee ordinance. So that would be the home for the ultimate fee schedule of what new development could be charged to help pay for additional public facilities. Those two pieces, the ordinance and CIE together, at the conclusion of the process, if the county wants to proceed with an impact fee program, adoption of those two documents would put you in the impact fee collection business. As far as key inputs on the next slide into those particular components, the CIE is done on the front end. It technically would become part of your comprehensive plan upon adoption. It's treated as a standalone appendix. That includes growth forecasts for population, housing, and employment to help us understand what projected public facility needs are. Staff input so we can understand existing services and levels of service. Any adopted plans that you have, all of that feeds into this. For the impact fee ordinance, state law or the Development Impact Fee Act requires that an advisory committee be appointed by the board. That's made up, 50% of the committee has to be made up of representatives from the building, development, or real estate industries. The committee has to be between 5 and 10 members, and their charge is just to provide input on the ordinance, in particular, a potential fee schedule. Their input would then be routed to the board at such point later in the process when you all would be engaging in fee-setting discussions. And so staff will be coming back to you in the near term with some suggestions for appointments to that committee. And then finally, as shown here, of course, everything necessitates review, consideration, and then ultimately the board would have to adopt these pieces. The last slide is just a summary schedule highlighting key milestones and opportunities for public involvement. This is really driven by state law and DCA's guidelines. Beginning with tonight's public hearing, there will be a second public hearing to consider the draft CIE document at such point that that is ready for public review. There are 2 public hearings associated with the Development Impact Fee Ordinance and fee schedule. And then, as mentioned, there will be the appointment of the advisory committee that will meet up to 3 times. So this is an overview of where we're headed. And again, this is the first official step necessitating the public hearing. And of course, after that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Any questions or comments from the Board of Commissioners?
I got one. As far as the impact fee, does it go on just for like development of subdivisions, or is that on any house that is built in the county?
So any additional house would be assessed an impact fee. So anything that it's a building permit is the mechanism. So if a building permit is issued for new construction, there's an associated impact fee. If someone is wanting to rebuild their house and you're talking a 1-for-1 replacement, that is not. But anything that's adding to the inventory is.
Okay, appreciate it.
And then just to clarify, this isn't just for residential dwellings, it's for commercial industrial buildings as well?
That's correct. There would be a 2-page fee schedule that includes all uses, what the per unit fee would be, so per dwelling unit and generally per square foot for non-residential uses. So services, retail, institutional, industrial, office, everything residential and non-residential, yes.
So if someone wanted to add on to their house, would they have to have an impact fee?
No, sir. We're not talking expansions to the dwelling. It's just, it would be an additional dwelling unit to be constructed would be the trigger.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, so at this time, I need a motion to open the floor to public comments.
So moved, Mr. Chair. Second.
All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. At this time, we'll open the floor to public comments. And there is nobody that has signed up, but if there's anybody that would like to come up and speak, if you just raise your hand, I'll give you an opportunity to come up to the mic and say anything or ask any questions you'd like. Yes, sir.
I did sign up out there in the halls.
Sign up on public comments.
Come on up, sir. If you would, just state your name and where you live here in the county for us, please.
Yeah, my name is Andrew Urista. I live here in Bullock County, Johns Lane. I didn't come here I just learned about the impact fees. I came here to talk about taxes, but to be honest with you, impact fees are taxes. As you know, you can tell, I'm not from here. We came down here my wife and I came down here to be with our kids and grandkids 6 months ago, and that was in August. And 3 days after I got here, I get the TV over the air, and it's a 36% increase in the millage rate. I'm like, whoa, I just came from a communist state to come down here. I didn't expect this. I've always felt that this area, after coming down here for 4 years to visit our kids in both Jenkins and in this county and grandkids, I felt that this was a great county, conservative county, that would really look after the folks that worked hard all their lives and the people that are still working and the people that do a lot for everybody. But I was just amazed. Property taxes for us, small house, 1,400 square foot, went up over $400, all right? I get Social Security, very little of a pension. And that really bothered me a lot. And then, come January, there's another tax, a 1% tax on sales. I'm like, what is going on here, all right? I mean, 9%. Where I came from, a lot of folks left the state to go across the border to buy things where there was half the sales tax, and in one case, New Hampshire, no sales tax. I mean, you know, I've met so many great people down here, and it's a really beautiful area. And I'm happy to be here, except for these taxes. But what I'm saying is that folks have told me that have been here all their lives, some are picking up and going. A couple I met going to Kentucky because of the taxes. Other folks are saying that, I guess this board said they weren't going to raise taxes, and you did. I went to my first school board meeting here right after I saw that 36%, and they seemed to just ignore me, all right? Because where I come from, the voters vote on a school budget. Here, I guess you don't vote. The voters have no say. It's I guess you guys rubber stamp them if you want it. And to me, it seems like that's what happened. But my other question is, Georgia Southern, I came from New York, upstate New York. We left the county because we had 3 colleges in our county, and they were tax exempt, paid nothing to help out the folks that pay taxes. And that drove us to a more northern county just to get away from that where we could afford it. And we were there 18 years. I wonder, how does Georgia Southern contribute to this? Because from what I understand, it's 27,000 to 29,000 students. It just baffles me that we don't make enough revenue in sales tax with all these people from the college spending money here. That bothers me. Let me see. Yeah, you know, the other thing I say about Georgia Southern, too, I'm sure there's endowments. You always hear about these big colleges, Harvard and this and that, where they get all these endowment monies. And what happens here? Do they get endowments here? Do they contribute to this community? I love Bullock County. Like I said, 4 years we looked at coming down here. And finally, after all these beatings of my wife to get down here with the grandkids, I said, okay, let's go. And I am happy to be here, and I appreciate everything that you all do. But you've got to control the taxes because, to be honest with you, I mean, hey, I'm in the 70s. I ain't got that much longer, but I want my kids to have a home, and grandkids to have a home where they're going to stay. So I appreciate you all listening to me. One last thing. Flock cameras are going up all over here. You know, these little brown poles and everything. Where I came, well, up there, we had towns that had it and got rid of it fast, because what happened with Flock, a lot of people were abusing that system. And I read about it and hear about it on the news. I don't want to see that happening here, because as I drive through, I see these Flock cameras all over. They're good for law enforcement, but then again, they can come and bite you. But I appreciate you all being here, and thank you for listening to me. And hopefully you can keep the taxes where they are. I mean, the state is trying, but from what I understood, y'all, what you call it, I'm sounding like I'm from here, you exempted the county from, I guess, a lot of counties exempt themselves from holding down the taxes, and I don't understand that either, but thank you again, everyone. I appreciate you listening to me. Thank you.
So if the board will entertain me here for just a second, I'd like to clarify a couple of points that you made. The first one is, when you start looking at your tax increase overall, when you get your bill, it is combined between the school board and the county. Okay? We did not pass a millage rate increase last year. the school board did pass a millage rate increase. Now, the other thing that I want to clarify is that with House Bill 581 that was passed in 2024, we did not opt out. We went all in. So the first thing that does is it froze everyone that has a homestead exemption in the county. It freezes their property tax appraisal at the 2024 rate. Okay? So even if your appraisal goes up, what you are paying taxes on is the 2024 appraisal. Okay? The other piece of that was if we did that part, if we did not opt out of it, the thing that we could do was put on a referendum in the county to pass a 1 cent sales tax called a FLOST. The county overwhelmingly 2-1 passed that FLOST. The intent of that FLOST is to take that 1 cent sales tax and put it toward property taxes to offset it. We had to base it off of 2024 and what a sales tax made in Bullock County. Now with that, you ask, what does Georgia Southern do for us? Not a lot right now, because they are tax exempt. But what they do is they bring in 26,500 college students that spend money here every day. And now with that 1 cent sales tax, everybody that comes to Bullock County, including those college students, when they spend money here, they're contributing to the taxes in this county. We have to collect that sales tax for a year before we can disperse it. But based off of the numbers that we had from 2024, we're expecting to see about a 38% decrease in property taxes because by law, the only thing that money can be used for is directly to offset property taxes. So when you ask what we're doing to reduce property taxes, that's what we've done. The other thing that we're doing is trying to pass an impact fee tax. This is primarily, or an impact fee. You can call it a tax if you like. The state calls it a fee. The intent here is, as we build new housing and people come into the county, that instead of the homeowners that are here subsidizing all that growth, those people put some skin in the game as well too, and they contribute to the infrastructure that we need in this county so desperately right now. If you have some more questions, I'm happy to talk with you after the meeting. Okay? Anybody else who would like to come up and speak? Okay. Hearing none, I'm going to ask for a motion to close public comments for the impact fees.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Next item is before I entertain, or we're going to go into zoning. Before I entertain a motion to approve the zoning agenda, do we have any discussion or modification desired by the county manager or the board?
We just had the one item on consent number 13, just needs to be.
No, this is just zoning still.
Okay, still going.
Okay, hearing no changes, I'm going to call for a motion to approve the zoning agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries to approve the zoning agenda unanimously. First item on the zoning agenda is going to be Mr. James Pope. Janet Lanier submitted an application to rezone approximately 10.55 acres from R80 to R25 for the purpose of creating a subdivision. The property is located at 424 Brandon Drive. Tax parcel number, James, do you just not like me? Is that what it is? MS 320000011000. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Note taken on the parcel number there. So our first agenda item, as stated, is a rezoning request by Janet Lanier. The property acreage is roughly or approximately 10.5 acres. General location of the property is on the west side of Statesboro, just outside of the Veterans Memorial Parkway or the bypass. This is the parcel highlighted in blue. Area zoning for the property is really a mix of zoning in the area along Brandon Drive. R2 or two-family dwelling zoning is to the north. R40 is directly across Brannon Drive, and then R25 is just to the south and across Brannon Drive. The adjacent parcel, for clarification, the adjacent parcel to the south is R80. This is an aerial of the property as shown. It exhibits that the property has one single-family home on the property currently, with majority as a wooded lot, and surrounding properties with single-family homes and what is zoned R2, but it's really like, or condos or townhomes to the north. And this is a site plan that was presented to staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission, which shows the number of requested lots is 13. And then these are photos of the property as it currently, in its current state when we placed the zoning sign on the property. This is Brannon Drive, I believe, looking to the south. And then this would be north. And with that, I'll ask I got ahead of myself. Planning and Zoning Commission recommended denial by 5-1 vote, and staff has recommended a number of conditions in the staff report if approval is granted. And with that, I'll ask Ms. Grace Wooten, who is the agent for the applicant, to make your way to the podium.
Good evening. I'm Grace Wooten with Pape Dawson, representing as agent for this rezoning application. As always, I want to thank you all for allowing me the opportunity to be here and to present. And thank you to the community for taking time out of their evening to come and listen and participate in this rezoning application hearing. When we presented a couple months ago, we presented initially duplexes for this property. We wanted it to be rezoned to R2. We realized pretty quickly going into it that that's not what the neighborhood and community wanted, and we deferred from presenting at this meeting because we wanted to revisit that site. We did so, and today we are presenting and requesting approval for R25 zoning. Because that previous rezoning was R2 and that intent was 2-family units, this one would be single-family units. This new site plan and proposed zone reflects half-acre single-family lots, and it preserves more than 3 acres of natural land and provides 1 acre of recreational and open space. And most importantly, it maintains the existing neighborhood's character and scale. I've personally worked with the county staff to review, revise, and develop this plan that you all see that complies with the Bullock County Comprehensive Land Plan, and it complements the surrounding land use while addressing community concern for multifamily and high-density residential. As planned and discussed, we're happy to accept the conditions regarding the amenity area, recreation area, conventional construction, tree requirements, and the privately owned and maintained road. Finally, it's important for me to reiterate that this site plan is proposed by a local developer who is known for developing, retaining ownership of, and maintaining pristine and quality sites. Known by much of the community, Mr. Lanier's intention with this site is no different. With that, I'd be happy to defer the rest of my presentation time to the community for any questions, concerns, most likely opposition, which I'll do my best to address. And I encourage you all, I would love to hear your thoughts as well as concerns that I would be happy to address as well.
Okay. Mr. Stacy Webb.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Stacy Webb, and I've been asked to speak out in opposition to this request. This is the second time that this increased housing request has come before the commissioners, but it has come before the Planning and Zoning Committee 3 times. In the 4 prior votes of the commissioners and the Planning and Zoning Committee on this property, there has been 23 votes against and only 1 vote in favor of this increased density. First, let's talk about the truth. The truth is that the owner bought this property knowing it was zoned R80. The county staff indicates this property has historically been used for residential use and is intended to remain for residential use. The report also points out that there are no reasons that this property cannot be used as it is currently zoned. And since this area was first zoned, there have been no variances granted. We have several concerns. First, is this variance needed? It was stated in the last commissioners meeting that a study said we needed 8,000 units built in the next 9 years. It was said at the August 2025 commissioners meeting that 8,801 housing units are under construction, or either under construction or have already been approved. When the first request was refused in 2024, the MLS listing averaged 115 housing units for sale per month. The second time it was brought before the Planning and Zoning Committee in September of 2025, the average was 294. And now the latest Realtor.com list shows 425 housing units on average for sale each month. So I ask again, is this variance needed? 2, the road to nowhere or somewhere. And as you see on the site plan, there's a road leaving the cul-de-sac and extending to the adjacent property, coincidentally zoned R2, which would allow duplexes to be built without a variance. The only thing you need is a road to access this property, thus the road to nowhere. And I've been told by the developer that he intends to build 12 duplexes on this property. So if you approve this zoning request, you are agreeing to allow duplexes to be built on the adjacent property. And that does change the dynamics of things. 3, the developer has indicated that these 13 houses, along with the duplexes on the adjacent property, are to be used as rental properties. I would argue that these rentals will in fact change the character of our neighborhoods. Our homes are residential in nature, and owners having paid for them with 30-year mortgages. Our properties are on this side of the road are 1 and 2 acre lots with multiple trees. The new plan clear cuts hundreds of trees, and the county only asks in their conditions that they plant 1 tree 3 inches in diameter on each lot. The developer has said the intent of these rentals will address a need for young families. How can we be certain that this will become a young family development? Are there any written guarantees? How many families want to rent homes with traffic from the duplexes driving on their road, coming from the adjacent property onto their street every day? What if they don't rent to young families? What if it becomes student housing? There are no guarantees that it will or will not, but it has been shown that when looking at the increase in the population of Bullock County, in the last 2 years, the population has increased by 2,294 people. Georgia Southern has grown by 3,527 in that time. So as you can see, most of, if not all, of the population increase in Bullock County has come from Georgia Southern. We can't be assured that it won't be students because, as stated before, we're overbuilding right now. I think that a student community encroaching on our residential property that has been zoned R40 and R80 since 1994 will have a huge impact on our neighborhood. It was zoned to protect those of us who have invested in our homes with the knowledge that, as the Planning and Zoning Committee did, that you, the commissioners, would also protect us from increased housing density when, 1, it is not needed, and 2, it does not fit the character of our neighborhood. 4, negative physical impact. The county report indicated a negative physical impact of $12,000 with these 13 houses. But if this request is approved, you have to include the duplexes. that, as pointed out in a prior staff report, will have a negative physical impact of $144,000 for a total negative impact of $156,000. 5, traffic on Brandon Road, a local road with no curbs, no sidewalks, and only 0.8 of a mile long, will have an additional 120 in and outs per day. But that's not the whole truth. In reality, if you approve this request, you will in fact be approving 340 in and outs per day when you include the duplexes. Equally important is that with the development being a proposed gated community, turning into the development will create a situation where cars sitting in the road over the crest of a hill, waiting for their chance to turn in, and while you can barely see over the hill, you can see the traffic problems coming from a mile away. The staff uses the ITE generation rate of 9.2 in and outs per day, using 2 cars per house, plus the 2 cars per family unit of the 12 duplexes. You will have a total of 340 in and outs. But what if it does become student housing? They usually have 4 cars per unit. That rate could possibly jump to 680 in and outs per day. 6, is it compatible with the comprehensive plan? The Bullitt County Comp Plan addresses the need to have infrastructure available before or as development happens. Do you think the needs for traffic improvements will be met prior to the development? Are there any road improvements to Brandon Road scheduled at this time? Turn lanes, sidewalks, curbings. In my research, I could not find any. 6B, Planning and Zoning Committee, Mr. Charles Chandler. Dal, if you'll put that on for me now. Planning and Zoning Committee member, Mr. Charles Chandler, expressed concern regarding water runoff. Would this retention pond be adequate to handle large rains? Not hurricanes, but just large rains. With the 2 properties being built, the runoff will double. There's also the issue of hundreds of trees being cut down that normally soak up groundwater. Certainly the increased groundwater provided by these new houses and duplexes, along with the runoff water, will increase the need to do road work at the basin where Memorial Highway and Cypress Lake Road intersect. And this is a photo of what it looks like when we have heavy rains, not hurricanes, but heavy rains. And in fact, it looks like this right now. 7, a precedent being set. If you agree to this request, it could set a precedent for future multi-family housing units to encroach on our residential neighborhoods. As stated before, there's been no prior approval of variances for Brandon Road. If approved, what's to stop further development going down Brandon Road? And finally, the Planning and Zoning Commission, whose sole purpose is to give guidance to the commissioners, has denied these requests for increased density on 3 separate occasions. I believe they see it as unnecessary, ill-timed, disruptive to the existing communities with traffic safety questions, water runoff problems, and of no real benefit to the communities or the county taxpayers. And now I would ask those in favor of the zoning request to please stand. Those who oppose this request, please stand. In summary, there has been 4 prior votes on this property, and there has been 23 votes to deny, and only 1 vote in favor of increased density on this property. All we ask is that you do the right thing, and we feel that the right thing is for you to deny this request. Thank you.
Ma'am, you've got 7 minutes and 35 seconds if you'd like to add anything to the conversation.
I just wanted to take the opportunity to speak to a couple of those points and mention the first rezone that went through in 2024 that proposed 47 lots was not in the interest of my client or Pape Dawson. But we, however, even though that was not our rezoning application, we still reviewed the opposition, and we took that into consideration when bringing our first application with the duplexes, 24 units in, and now we've gone and looked at the R25. And I know it was mentioned in the initial presentation, but across the street, the Hazelwood is R25. All but that County Squire area is a small bit of R40, and the rest of the road is R25. These lots are the same size. And in fact, because we are preserving 3 acres of land, our unit count at 1.23 units per acre is the same as R40. So it's the same amount of houses that you would see on an R40 lot. It's just a little closer together, and it's at R20 at the same size lots that are across the street with a provided amenity space and sidewalks as well. And that is contextually with that 1.23 acres per unit. The comprehensive land plan, which encourages property owners to express their property rights and develop their land, recommends that this area have 4 units per acre on it. And so that is us being contextually sensitive and showing the character of the neighborhood is to reflect what is there across the street. As far as traffic goes, this is about the traffic generator at peak time is about 12 cars per hour, which is 1 car per every 5 minutes. The gate, being a private road, is required by the county. We will move the gate back if that is required, or we will request a variance to remove the gate if that's a concern of the community. It is not of the desire of our development to have the gate. I also, during this, received word from Mr. Lanier that he is open also, but in the interest of the county and that unit acreage, and talking with you all, that if it would make any difference in your vote at all and your consideration, that he would be willing to go down to 10 lots on this as single family, still R25, but that could be a consideration. He would be willing to consider that. I think, and that is all I have on that. As far as stormwater goes, I guess that's not all I have. As far as stormwater goes on that, we will, this development, most developments produce about a 35 to 40% increase of stormwater. This development, after looking at the runoff coefficient, produces about 15% extra runoff, which is required by the city, by the county, and by the state for us to keep that on our property. This detention pond that we show would accommodate double that. The detention pond may not even be required, so we left that additional space also in order to preserve more pervious land and incorporate that groundwater. Because it's septic, we are not clear cutting, we are not doing mass grading. We have to maintain the integrity of that infiltration for our septic lines. So that addresses as many of those comments. Do y'all have any questions or concerns?
About the access road.
I'm sorry.
Is that road going to continue on to R2?
Yes, sir, that is the intention. And I did want to mention since 1994, since those properties have been R40 and R80, that property has also been R2. And by right, that is, duplexes are allowed on that, and that road can exist, and it will access those, in the future, will access that property to be utilized.
James, just to clarify, whether this is R80, R40, R25, the R2 in the back, if he chooses just to build a road to that R2, he can do what he wants to on R2, no matter what he does with the front lot.
That's correct. Obviously, subject to the subdivision ordinance, which planning and zoning would have to look at a sketch plan to move through the process, but
it would be
correct.
capable without coming back to planning and zoning or the commissioners.
That's correct.
So the R2 zoning plays no part in this either way. If he just uses the front part to put a road on, leaves it R80 and uses a road to get to the R2 one way or another, he can't be landlocked, and it's done R2, so it will stand that way no matter what the vote is.
again, that is possible through the subdivision ordinance. And so, yes, sir.
And it's our intention to create that transition area between the two. In the future, if more of that land becomes available and is, purchased by a different property owner or developer, and they want to come in and really force the issue of the comprehensive land plan and go back to R2, they could do that. And we're trying to avoid that as much as anyone else and make that transition area between R80, R25, R40 to R2 that already exists there and will remain.
I guess my issue, and going back to 10 lots, I think that would be great. I don't know if the neighbors would be good for that, but my big concern is that road going to the R2. And the reason why is because that's going to be a private road. And we have had so much trouble, and just since I've been here, about private roads not being upkept. And they're supposed to be part of HOAs and et cetera, and they don't. And then we end up having to take them over, and we get phone calls, which that's what I'm here for. But it creates an issue that the taxpayers of the county have to go in and fix old private roads. And that's my biggest concern. I mean, if they got rid of the road going that way and put it back to 10, I'd probably be more likely for it. Because right now, he could almost build 6 houses right now. So if you went to 10 and got rid of the road, you're almost there. So that's my concern.
Yes, sir. And there's nothing that we can put in, if there was something we could put in writing and make promises and assurances that road would be maintained, we would. I know Mr. Lanier owns some duplexes off of Pulaski that he's had for 18 years that are still, they look like they're brand new and well-kept and rentals. And, that's his intention with this property as well.
I think we kind of skipped over this. You've still got 4 minutes. If you want to use it, you're welcome to it, or you can just yield your time.
Yeah, I'll yield my time.
Okay.
I think I've said what I can say.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Mr. Webb, you've got 39 seconds if you would like to say anything else.
I'm not sure how many of y'all been on that road. There's more than one car every 5 minutes, I guarantee you that. It's going to be a safety hazard going over that hill, having to stop to turn in. That's going to be a problem. If we could agree to 10 houses, no road to nowhere, I'm probably pretty sure we would accept that.
It was just one car every 5 minutes turning into that neighborhood, not on the road.
Mr. Webb, I'm having a little bit of trouble with this one, because I'm kind of tore up between both parties here. That road that we're talking about there is going to go in. Am I correct with that assumption? You're just trying to utilize the road to get there. It's already R2 in the back. What I'm saying is, I don't know if those 10 houses ain't the best route for y'all to go, because they don't even have to come back and really deal with us to get that road and to get to that R2.
That's understandable.
I mean, I'm being frank, and I really am being
Absolutely, and I
frank about it.
appreciate that. A question I would have is, she said that land, or somebody said that property is landlocked, there are other access to that land through Westbrook, through Brandon Road. There are other places to access that road. Now, I don't know the particulars of those, but there are other accesses to that property.
It's also frontage with Brandon Drive, right? The front part of that?
Yes.
Those two.
I believe so. I
just had it pulled up. It looked like it was.
It's currently under contract, or I think it's been subdivided recently. I'm not 100% positive on that, but I am positive that the intention, that piece, it will be or is landlocked from what has been sold off and what has been.
So the access to Brandon Drive is not even questionable on that piece of property anymore?
On the R2, that's correct.
Okay. I'd be okay with 10 houses and no road.
She says not. She's not accessible.
Yeah, that's what she said. You cannot get to it. Yeah. Yeah, just confirm, you said you cannot get to that R2 without going through this road here. So y'all don't have access off of these other possibilities? Highway 80 or the bypass? Because it looks like it joins up to the bypass up there. That's all wetlands. Okay, okay.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman, if it remains the R80, how many houses will be put in there?
About, that's quick math, I'm sorry.
It's like 5.75.
Yeah. About, yeah, five.
From my
Five-
numbers earlier.
Between, yeah, 5 would be allowed, yeah. Almost 6.
Go ahead, Mr.
It would be 6 once you did the bonus incentives.
But even doing the R80, you could still possibly put, the road would still go through there even if it was R80.
Correct.
So the road is pretty much going in either way, either 6 houses in a road or 10 houses with road.
And we're trying to create a more fluid transition rather than R80, just straight to. It's more feasible and matches the land use plan.
So what I'm hearing is 10 houses okay? Is it not okay? I mean, what are we?
Mr. Chairman, we did it one time. I don't know if the two is willing to talk about it, but, you know, I do hate being put in this position to be a bad guy. You know, we arguing over something that's unavoidable, actually, what's going to happen here. We had a speaker,
I'm tracking
you
with
know
you.
what I'm talking
Yes.
about? Well, we did it one time before. I don't know if it may be willing to nominate one to go back and let's see if they can do it. Because I'm gonna be honest with both sides. Y'all have got me tore up. You know, you're pulling me both ways, okay? Pretty hard. And we flirting with the line of telling people what they can and what they can't do with their land. You know, we're on the same. We're right here playing with it. And I'm not a subdivision guy. I think everybody in this room knows that. You know, I don't live in a subdivision. I don't never plan on living in a subdivision. I do understand both sides. Mr. Chairman, if you know what I'm putting down here, why don't you lead that on?
What we're going to propose here, and I think what Mr. Connor's trying to say is, would Mr. Webb and Mr. Lanier be willing to go back over here in the kitchen for a few minutes and try to work out some of these details? If y'all say that 10 houses is acceptable, can we get some kind of an agreement on this instead of us just sitting here and ifs and whats and all the buts?
I mean, we can, and two, I mean, we can level decision right now. We can vote on it right now. But I mean, I think we close enough that we can make something happen that everybody should be satisfied with. You know, this don't have to be one of those things where this group leaves mad and this group leaves happy. I think we can get there. I really do. I think we can get there. And like I said, I want that to stay on the table because I don't think this is.
So here's what I'll offer. We're going to vote on something tonight. If y'all want to take a few minutes and go back and talk, we'll proceed on through the agenda. If y'all can come to some kind of agreement, come on out and let us know. Otherwise, we just going to vote on it like it is. Just tell us what you want to do.
Question. I would question whether or not that property is landlocked. I've been back into that subdivision of Westbrook, and it's right there, and you can access it. I'm not questioning Ms. Wooden's comments. I'm just questioning, is that in fact the truth? Is that, I mean, how,
It's landlocked, okay? What Kelly bought from the guy is separate. It's landlocked. You cannot get back there. I've driven back there. I know where it's at.
and I understand, I've driven back there too. But I've driven back there, now what Mr. Lanier told me, Kelly Lanier, who's a developer, told me was that the owner would not let him go through there. Okay, is that any better or worse than us letting them go through there, is the question I would have.
Well, it would be a matter, he owns all of that property, it would essentially all become one property. And so then it's not landlocked anymore, it's just all that one.
But I think to say it's landlocked would be, there's another avenue, but that's negotiable with whoever owns the other property.
So we can't discuss that. We have to look at the piece of property that's in front of us and the zoning proposal that is in front of us.
I'm certainly willing to meet with Mr.
So if y'all would like to take a few minutes and talk about this and y'all can work something out, we're happy to let y'all do that.
Okay.
If y'all just want us to vote on it like it is, we'll do that too.
That'd be up to Mr. Lanier.
He was in surgery yesterday and he's not here today. We can step outside and give him a call if you'd like. I know that he wanted this voted on tonight though, so we can go give him a call.
Mr. Tillman, can you carry them somewhere where they can go talk real quick?
Ma'am, did you say he wants to, because you could defer it till the next meeting?
He does not want to defer it. He would like a vote on it tonight, but we'll go out and talk real quick.
So in the meantime, we're just going to go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda. Mr. Pope, you can go ahead and start.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Agenda item number 2 tonight is a rezone request by Concrete Enterprises LLC, who has submitted the application to rezone approximately 24 acres from a highway commercial zoning to a heavy industrial zone for the purpose of operating a ready-mix concrete plant and an asphalt plant. The property is located at 12139 Highway 301 South. Let's see. General location for the property is south of Statesboro, just south of city limits. The frontage to the property is along Highway 301 as stated. And as the zoning map references, you have highway commercial zoning from 301 to the west. There's a railroad track as shown on the map. It's the railroad which runs through Statesboro down to Register. And the property is highlighted here, shows that at one time and for many years, the property operated as an auto wrecking yard. Recent developments within the past 2 or 3 years has rezoned property to an R25 with certain conditions placed on that property. So there is a residential development adjoining this property. R80 zoning is also to the west of the property. And then just to the north is a manufactured home park. And so there is some proximity requirements that the applicant would have to go back to planning and zoning to clear up to get a variance. But again, the applicant wanted to move forward with the rezoning first just to figure out if this use would work. This is the aerial of the property, our most recent aerial, and as shown, the property is not really in use as an auto wrecking yard, at least to any extent that it was previously. And this is the site plan for the development. As shown, the access is to 301 through an existing access easement in which staff has a recommendation for the roadway leading into the development. But as shown, the site plan would include an asphalt plant and concrete plant and a fairly significant buffer to the north, and which staff recommends some conditions for buffering and landscape requirements for those residential zones abutting this property. And this is the property as it in its current state when we place the zoning notice sign on the property. And this would be facing south. Again, you can see the railroad. There is rail line access for potential use at some point in the future. And this is the road currently leading to 301 from the property, again, going east to US Highway 301. And I'll leave the site plan up, and Mr. Chris Cohagen will serve as agent tonight for the applicant.
Mr. Cohagen, before you start, James, will you just entertain me here for a minute and read off all those conditions specific to this rezone so that everybody can hear them?
Yes, sir, and I failed to mention, Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval by a 6-0 vote. They did recommend condition number 6, of which we added in the staff report. Staff recommended denial of the rezone request, and we do have a number of conditions listed, of which I will read all 6. Number 1, the developer shall be required to install a combination vegetative landscape buffer and a 10-foot berm using a 3-to-1 slope on the rear and east side property lines. No certificate of occupancy or occupational tax certificate should be issued until both components are installed. All weather access improvements should be required for the access route or route connecting the property to Highway 301 South. The use of the property should be limited to an asphalt plant and a concrete plant. Additional uses shall require modification to these conditions. An air quality permit should be obtained from the Environmental Protection Division prior to any operation. The conceptual site plan approval should be required by the Planning and Zoning Commission. And as stated, number 6, which was recommended by Planning and Zoning, a 6-foot chain link fence should be installed along property lines abutting the residential and abutting the residential zoning districts.
Thank you. Mr. Cohagen, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner, or Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I'm Chris Gohagan with Talby Rushing. Pleased to be here tonight on behalf of Concrete Enterprises and C.W. Matthews Contracting Company to seek your approval of this rezone request for operation of a permanent asphalt plant and permanent concrete plant at 12139 Highway 301 South. I'm pleased to be joined tonight by Dameron Davis from Concrete Enterprises, Jared Crum from C.W. Matthews, and Cody Hale from Nutter and Associates, the environmental consultants on this project. Y'all have any questions about what these people do or what they intend to do on this site specifically? They are more than capable of answering those for you and happy to tell you their story. And they have a really good story to tell. Concrete Enterprises is a Georgia company. They've been in business for more than 40 years in the concrete industry. They have locations just like what you'll see here in just a second in Albany, Moultrie, Tifton, Warner Robins, Macon, and Valdosta. C.W. Matthews, for their part, been in business for more than 80 years in Georgia. And in short, they work on the biggest infrastructure projects in the state, including interstate expansions and runway expansions at Hartsfield-Jackson. They have operations in Savannah, Atlanta, Columbus, Macon, and Athens. These guys are all over our state, and they're good neighbors in every community that they serve. And that's primarily for 2 reasons. One is that they invest in state-of-the-art equipment that you're going to have a chance to see, and they invest in a heavily engineered and designed site. And both of those things are going to be true for this project, which at build-out should have about a $1.8 million investment into our community that'll generate roughly $20,000 a year in tax revenue for the county. Dal, would you mind showing the images that I submitted? I was frankly unfamiliar with what modern concrete plants look like. So I wanted you to have a chance to see what a Vance Hagen HT Series dry batch concrete plant looks like. This is the equipment that Concrete Enterprises utilizes at all of their locations. This is what they will utilize on this site with your approval. These are modular units that are rolled in and installed on a pad. They can be rolled off just as easily as they were rolled in. They have centralized dust collection and material recycling systems. These collect all the dust and exhaust that have traditionally been concerns for more archaic concrete plant facilities. And these systems achieve a 99.9% particulate capture efficiency. Also, very importantly, they have recycled water storage pits inside of these plants. They return excess water back to the batching process to prevent water waste and runoff from the facility. On the asphalt side, C.W. Matthews uses Aztec asphalt plants. Importantly, for those plants, they use a warm mix batching product that eliminates heat, which has often been a historical concern of traditional asphalt mixing plants. In addition, they use closed-loop baghouses systems for emissions, carbon filtration systems to capture odors, and variable frequency drives on their electric motors, which reduce noise and save on energy. So these are the ways these companies invest in state-of-the-art technology to make their applications fit on their sites. They also invest in the site itself, and will do so here. This site's going to have a stormwater detention pond. It's going to have site-wide irrigation for dust control for vehicular traffic. As Mr. Pope mentioned, one of the conditions of the staff recommendation was for a 10-foot by 30-foot vegetative berm along two sides of the property. That condition, along with all conditions Mr. Pope expressed from the staff, are agreeable to the developer, and we feel like those are reasonable ways to control some of the concerns they have with these applications. In addition, traffic is going to be limited and funneled through the access point that Mr. Pope discussed. It will not be coming around the sides near the residential uses. So those are the reasons why these are really good applicants and really good owners of this project, but there are good reasons why this is the right site for it as well. This site includes 24.38 acres, which is a generous size for this type of use. It has immediate access to 301 South, but it's interesting, it's not, though it has immediate access to 301 South, it's not visible from 301 South. So you'll achieve a visual separation from this project. Everyone who drives up and down 301 won't notice this project even being there. It's less than a mile from the bypass and 8 miles from I-16. These are critical because I didn't realize this, but a ready-mix concrete truck has a 30-mile delivery radius. That truck needs to be where it's going in 30 miles, so access to major thoroughfares and arterial roads like 301 and the interstate exponentially expand the service area and the number of sites that can be served by this plant. In addition, it has immediate access to rail. And this is going to provide an important local resource, not only for people with projects in our community, but for the county itself. Y'all do quite a bit of pavement and concrete applications, and having local sources for these types of products benefits all of us. It's part of the infrastructure of our community. In addition, this site has historically been the home of Stubbs Metal and Wrecking Yard, which is a valued local business, and I know some of you were regular customers out there and know the place well. Unfortunately, that use has fallen off through the years, and the current state is a state of deteriorating structures and in the past deteriorating vehicles. These create concerns for leakage of hazardous materials, things like oil, gas, antifreeze, and transmission fluid, heavy metal contaminants, asbestos, mercury, and refrigerants. Those are all present on this site. So this is a site that is attractive to industrial uses, and we're just asking you to let the zoning of this property reflect what it's attracting. Again, that request is to rezone this property from highway commercial to heavy industrial. I'm going to be coming back to you at your next meeting, assuming you approve this application with a request for a variance that pertains to distance requirements from some of the neighboring uses. We'll have an opportunity to discuss that at that time. Staff report, again, addressed some concerns with the project, and we don't suggest that those are invalid concerns. The biggest concern, I think, was that it was inconsistent with neighboring zoning and the suburban neighborhood identified by the long-term comprehensive plan. But the fact is, that's been true for years. Stubbs has been there for 40 years, maybe more, based on what I can tell. Wrecking yards are only permitted in heavy industrial zones. So the use that has been ongoing on this site for 40 years is a heavy industrial use. We're asking that the zoning accurately reflect how the property's always been used, and we want to use it in the same way. If you go 2 miles south down 301, you'll see the SRM concrete facility. And that's zoned in a highway commercial zone. So there you have the same heavy industrial use, but in a highway commercial zone. We're asking to be able to do the same thing on our site, but we've come to you and giving you an opportunity to impose some conditions on the use, again, that we agree with. We feel like those conditions adequately address all of the other concerns related to traffic, law enforcement, and fire safety. And again, we look forward to implementing those concerns. So we think you got a really good candidate for this project and a really good site for this application. We ask you to recognize that this heavy industrial use is consistent with the historical use of the project, and it's the site that's really only going to be attractive to this type of use. Here's an opportunity to clean it up, capture some tax revenue for an expanded use, and add an important local option to our existing infrastructure. We ask your approval on this request. Planning and Zoning recommended 6-0 that you approve it. We ask that you adopt that recommendation, and if you do, I'll look forward to seeing you at your next meeting to discuss the variance and hopefully tie this thing up. I'll reserve the balance of our time for any questions or concerns you may have.
There's nobody that signed up in opposition to this, is there? So,
These were representatives with him and then 2 others.
okay. So there's 5 people that have signed up to speak in favor of this. There's 2 ways we can do this. I can give you each 2 minutes apiece, or y'all can get 10 minutes and y'all can self-regulate your time.
I think, I can't speak for everyone on the list. I haven't seen the entire list. Everyone seated with me will waive their time.
Okay?
And that would be Mr. Dameron Davis,
Waive,
Jared Crum,
waive,
Jim Willis, Cody Hale, and then Mr. Lyles. Okay. Would waive yours, or do you want to speak? I can speak. Okay. Mr. Lyles.
Good evening. My name is Kaleo Lyles. I'm a small business owner here in Bullitt County, but I'm here on behalf tonight of Miss Bonnie Grice. She actually owns the property adjacent to this property, fronting 301. Originally, 2 weeks ago during the planning and zoning meeting, she came here in opposition because she was kind of worried about what a concrete plant would do behind her properties. Since then, I have to commend Concrete Enterprises and the representatives. They've been more than willing to appease any concerns that she had. We went and talked to all of the current tenants of the 4 parcels. One's empty. Address any concerns that they might have. They're okay. And anything that we did bring up, Concrete Enterprises has been more than willing to do whatever needed to make sure that they're comfortable, good neighbors, and good members of the community. So just want to say, I think they'd be a great fit for this spot. The use itself is already kind of heavy industrial use, so if someone's going to go in there, I think this company and these people would be good for that. So, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
I just want to make sure, the road going into it, I don't know who needs to answer this, but the road going into it is not officially a road right now, right? It's not a county road, or how are they going to access, and what's going to be the improvements?
The road itself is a 50-foot access easement. It's currently a dirt access. It will become paved. There's also going to be some driveway aprons installed off of it. The plats that are on record show it as a county-maintained road. We did not find a GDOT number assigned to it, so I don't know if the county is maintaining that road or not at this point, and I don't know that the people who would have those answers are in the room tonight, because the people who are here are either looking to buy the property or representing the current owners. So it's my understanding it is a county-maintained road. That doesn't necessarily look what it seems to be on the ground.
Okay. So the easement issue's already been taken care of, that y'all going to come in and pave it and everything's going to be good to go. So there's no issue in between getting through the trailer sales portion of it to get to the back.
The same easement has been on record since the 80s, and nothing's going to change about it except that same area will be paved.
Okay, I'm fine with it.
Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a motion on this item.
Motion. Second.
Did you get all that?
Is that with all the conditions?
Mr. Simmons and
The
Mr.
6
Rush?
conditions?
With the conditions.
With the conditions. Okay, the motion on the floor is to approve with conditions. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. All right, so I believe that brings us back to item number 1 on the list. Is there anything that y'all would like to share with us before we move forward on this?
I'll speak for myself and Stacy, and you're welcome to correct me if I'm wrong. We're willing to concede on 3 of those lots and make it about one lot per acre, or one lot, there's 10 acres, 10 lots, which is equivalent to about an R40, but still R25. I think the requests were either to keep it R80 and/or confirm that we would not use that property to access the R2, and those are not 2 things that, or either thing that we were willing to concede on, so I'm sorry.
Okay.
We tried.
So we're looking at 10 lots, and the road pretty much stays like it is. That's correct? Okay.
Of course, if permitted by the county too.
Jeff, is there anything we need to do to make this binding?
Well, you would need to add a condition, I think, that limited it to 10 lots.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it'll still be zoned R.
R25 like, is what y'all are seeking.
R25 limited to 10 lots.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we rezone this R25, limited to 10 lots,
Second.
with the conditions.
With condition.
So the motion on the floor is R25, limiting it to 10 lots. All in favor?
With the other conditions.
With the other conditions. Yes, sir. All in favor? I got 3 hands up. All opposed? Got 3 hands opposed. So it looks like I'm breaking a tie tonight. The motion is to approve, and I am going to vote I'm voting no to approve. So we need another motion to disapprove this zoning.
So, wait a minute. So you voted,
I voted no,
okay, and against the motion?
against the motion.
Okay.
So we need another motion to disapprove the rezone. Is that correct?
Yes. If you voted against the motion, then you didn't take any action.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can I get a motion?
I so moved.
And a second? We voted to approve. It was denied. We have to now pass a motion to say that we do not approve the zoning as it stands.
Well, or you need a motion of some sort that
Okay.
is ultimately approved.
I will take any motion that I can get.
Can I get a discussion?
Absolutely.
I know this is getting old to me. I'm not fitting to call you Mr. Fuzzy, but Mr. Lanier, is there any way you'll take R40 on this?
That shouldn't be my call. There, I mean, that, while the equivalent is there because of those 3 acres of wetlands, we wouldn't be able to get the actual 10 lots with it being 140. It's just equivalent to 140. So we would not be able to, because we can't build in those wetlands.
Understand.
Any other discussion?
But it would be a restriction for 10 lots period, right? I mean, that's what they were talking about, okay.
Is there any wiggle room for them to table this and have a discussion and come back and try to, for all sides to work things out?
I think they've all made their stands pretty clear.
My issue with asking for R40 was, I do understand, the adjacent properties R80, and they're concerned with that being turned to R25, and I understand that concern, but 25 and 80 in the middle is 40. And if we could get there, I think we could send this baby packing and not have to hear it no more.
Yeah, we're willing to defer.
Defer?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to defer this to the next meeting.
Second.
All in favor of deferring?
The next night meeting.
Next night meeting.
So motion carries unanimously to defer to the next night meeting.
I appreciate those time.
We've been going at this for about an hour and a half, and I've been told that I'm a cruel and unusual chairman because I make people wait too long to go to the bathroom. So can I get a motion for a 10-minute recess?
So move. Second.
All in favor? We'll re-adjourn at 5 after 7. Right.
Got a motion, there was discussion
Right.
before that second, and then we got the motion.
That's correct.
You can't make What is it Either way, now you can move it out this way or down the middle. We're getting close, ain't you? Final inspection. Testing them.
Like y'all, daggone close with chairs and tables and all that.
Yeah, we pretty much done. I mean, we are, like I said, we got it inspected today. I'm starting, I'll probably officially open probably next Monday or Tuesday.
So I got 7:05 by the clock on the back wall, so we're going to go ahead and get restarted. Dow, are you up over there? Okay, all right. So the next thing on here is the general agenda. So before we entertain a motion to approve the general agenda, do we have any discussion or modification desired by the county manager or the board?
The last item, number 13, just remove.
Okay. Taking off number 13 on the consent agenda. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to call for a motion.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Second.
Motion is to approve the general agenda. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Next up is our public comments. At this time, I will recognize the citizens who've signed up to address the board. Once your name is called, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and make your comments. All speakers who are recognized will be allotted 5 minutes.
Mr. Mike Smith.
Debbie. Mike Smith, I live at 2238 Ponderosa Road, and I'm here tonight to talk to y'all about getting the road paved. I put out a petition with Mr. Ray helping me with it, and Ms. Harden from Banks Creek. I own property on both of those roads, and we've had trouble in bad weather. Mr. Ray lives on Banks Creek also. He knows what kind of bad weather we've had up there and how the road conditions get. We have also several people that ride motorcycles on that road, on Ponderosa. And it has thrown just about every one of us when it gets bad. I have a $40,000 motorcycle. I don't appreciate that getting thrown off of it. Me and my wife both got thrown off of it sometime last year. I've also talked with Ben Tapley, if we can get this motion passed, to have both of these roads paved, about putting a fire station on it, on my property. He said it would take about 3/4 of an acre to put a two-room building on my property. I have no problem with donating that property to y'all. When you turn off of Old Deal Road, my Ponderosa Road I'm talking about is between Old Deal Road and Highway 25. When you turn off of Old Deal Road, everybody from that corner toward 25 falls out of the fire district of Portal. Therefore, our insurances are sky high. Being that we could get that road paved, Ponderosa and Banks Creek Road, and getting a fire station put on it, that would lower our insurances, and that's what I'm trying to do for everybody that lives on both of those roads. I'm willing to do that for y'all, or for the county, just to help me out, to help those people out, and to get these roads paved where we can ride up and down them safely. I used to work for the sheriff's department. I put 46 years in public safety with this county. I started when I was 19 years old. I love this county. I've been here since 1969. It's my home. I was born in Macon, but this is home. And I want to be able to ride safely. I know that there would be some increased traffic on that road. I got no problem with that. And the people that I've gotten to sign the petition, that was some of their questions. I told them what Mr. Ray told me, said is possibility that we could have some speed bumps put on it. I've talked with Mitch Johnson back there. He said that we could probably keep the road at 35 miles an hour since it's only like 0.8 of a mile long. And that's the speed limit on a dirt road. That's what I'm here tonight for, is to try to get y'all to vote and get it put into this year's budget agenda to get started getting both of those roads paved. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Ms. Lenora Harden.
Good evening, honorable commissioners. Thank you for allowing us this opportunity. Like to also acknowledge the neighbors that are here from Banks Creek and Ponderosa. If y'all would just stand so they can see that you're here. And in conjunction with Mr. Smith, we are working together as much as we can to bring forth the effort of getting that road paved, both of those roads paved. We recognize that if he was to be successful in getting that fire station on the corner, that it would help all of the neighbors greatly by reducing the insurance rating so that everybody in that area is benefiting from it. Because as he stated, we are outside of the fire district coverage right now. And we also want you all to consider us in the upcoming budget session for our road pavement project to get started. We'd also like to thank you for the last crush and run. I think it's some type of rock sand that was put down, and which has made the road a little bit better in the areas that were covered. We do appreciate what you have done for us since we've been coming before you. And that lets us know that you are hearing what we're saying, and we appreciate the interim steps that are being taken while we try to get through this process to get a more permanent solution so that we won't be using funds for like a pacifier rather than a solution. And if anyone else here from our group would like to speak, they may have the remaining time, if that's okay with you.
I have no problem with that.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is LaTressa Harden, and I am a parent of a school-aged kid that lives on Banks Creek Church Road. And again, I know we've, come to most of the meetings and told you about the conditions of the road and how buses aren't able to travel down those roads. And thank God I have a vehicle. We have some parents that live on the road that do not have vehicles. And just over the last 3 weeks, there's been some road closures for buses due to rain. Thankfully, I have a vehicle that I can get the kids back and forth to school. But what about the elderly that have medical conditions and stuff of that sort, and emergency vehicles can't get down those roads when they're in bad condition? So I ask that y'all just really, consider possibly putting us in the budget as soon as possible so we can get this condition taken care of. And also, as Ms. Harden stated, it's just like a pacifier. We keep doing things to just patch it up, but it's not a real solution. Because although those certain areas have been provided crush and run, there's still areas that aren't. So we're still slipping and sliding, and most days it's just a complete washboard. So if we're doing that in our personal vehicles, I can only imagine what a bus has to go through up and down that road when they're allowed. Because most of the time when it rains, and it's not even a bad rain, we got a notification from the school system, hey, y'all need to find another route or another way to get your children to school. I just feel like in this day and time, that shouldn't have to be an option. And we have the required amount of petition signatures. Even Mr. Smith is wanting to give up some of his land to see if we can get this done. So I just really ask that y'all consider it and preferably get us on that list. Thank you.
Ms. Linda Mosley.
Good afternoon. My name is Linda Mosley, and I appreciate everyone, you guys taking the time to listen to us. As Ms. Harding has said, when she mentioned the seniors, I am one of the seniors. And previously, before you did the crush and run, when I would get up in the morning, if it was raining, I knew I wasn't going anywhere and I would go back in the house because I wasn't going to even try it. The crush and run has helped, but I really would appreciate and look forward to the road being paved. Thank you.
Jamal Lester, Mr. Jamal Lester.
So I had a conversation with Mr. Mosley today, and he said that he had dug through some records, and he had found where he's been working with folks out there since 2010. Is that right? To get this road paved. I think it's long overdue. I know that Mr. Nelson's been working with y'all closely to make sure that we have all the requirements that we need. We're going to continue to push forward on this. So appreciate y'all coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. So that wraps up our public comments. We'll move into the consent agenda. As was noted earlier, we're going to take 13, or item number 13, off the consent agenda completely for this evening. Starting with number 1, approve the minutes from Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. Number 2, approve the purchase and installation of a storage building from Duro Store Structures for the total cost of $21,945.17. Number 3, approve an extension of baking services contract with Synovus and Pinnacle. Number 4, approve an agreement between Bullitt County Recreation and Parks and the Department of Natural Resources to supply and restock the ponds annually at Fletcher Park and Mill Creek Regional Park. Number 5, approve the purchase of an ABI Force Z23ST infield athletic machine from St. John's Turf Care in the amount of $38,890 for the Bullitt County Recreation and Parks Department. Number 6, approve a lease agreement for the property located on 151 Langston Chapel Road, Statesboro, for the Bullitt County USDA Service Center until December 31st, 2031. Number 7, approve continuation of the financial advisory retainer services agreement with Davenport and Company LLC for the amount of $26,230.69 per the supplemental letter agreement dated February 28th, 2022. Number 8, approve purchase to update HVAC controls at the Ag Business Center from Augusta Chiller Service in the amount of $75,197.50. Number 9, approve a special event permit for Statesboro Ducks Unlimited to host a nonprofit event at the Ogeechee Technical College, 20 Joe Kennedy Boulevard on April 9th, 2026 from 6 until 9 p.m. Number 10, approve a special event permit for Rotary Club of Downtown Statesboro to host a nonprofit event at Ogeechee Technical College, 20 Joe Kennedy Boulevard on March 17th, 2026 from 6:30 until 9:30 p.m. Number 11, approve a one-time purchase of 10 20-yard roll-off containers from Monmouth Solutions in the amount of $49,099. Number 12, approve a bid for Middle Ground Construction Incorporated in the amount of $26,552 for fencing at the new Pine Inn Convenience Center. Number 13, approve the award of bids, or excuse me, we're not doing 13. So that's all of them. Do we have any discussion? If there's, anybody want to add any, subtract any?
I'd like to take 11 and 12 off, please.
Number 11
New
and
business.
11 and 12 are moving to new business. With the exception of 11 and 12, can we get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman, with the exception of 11 and 12.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. So we'll go ahead and start with number 11 from the consent agenda. Approve a one-time purchase of 10 20-yard roll-off containers from Monmouth Solutions in the amount of $49,099.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners.
Good evening.
The questions I got, I know we were talking about, and I've got the email and all that we're going to start thinking about manning the recycling centers.
Yes, sir.
And consolidating them, from my understanding. Do we have an updated plan on that? Because it doesn't seem like we might not need to buy some if we're going to close 6 or 7 recycling centers, wouldn't that give us enough to cover these 10 that we're looking at buying?
Well, we have a number at the centers that are, in bad need repair. They got hose coming out through the bottom, the trash is falling out. We have a few on site, but as I understand that this was just in the works, I come in on the backside of all of these bids coming in. These were already in the works as far as buying them just for maintaining what we have and to operate and do what we got to do until any changes are made in the future.
Do we know when we might be looking at doing any of that changes yet?
We're probably still 2 or 3 months away. And it's not going to change the volume, which in essence shouldn't change the number of containers. The volume's the same. It'll just be how it's collected. We do repair them. I know we use people at CI to weld them up. So these are, I imagine, just one big patch at this point.
Okay.
So
Well, I just want to
we
make
do
sure, like I said, I knew we were going to
stretch it.
start consolidating some, and I was just, it just made sense if we were consolidating it, we might have some extras laying around.
Yeah,
So
and this,
I just
you know,
needed some explanation, that was
10,
it.
10 wasn't a huge volume, so I mean, that's not that many.
Okay, all right, that'll work.
Any other questions or discussion on this item? Go ahead and call for a motion. All in favor?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, second. Second. All in favor? Nick, are you gonna?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd already, yeah.
Motion carries unanimously. Number 12, approve a bid for Middle Ground Construction Incorporated in the amount of $26,552 for fencing at the new Pine Inn Convenience Center.
I just pulled that one out since it pertained to solid waste. I was just trying to get the plan figured out before we spend the money, but that's what I was just trying to figure out, so I'm good with it.
Okay, no questions on that one either? Okay.
Any further questions or discussion on this item? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to item number 1 in new business, County Engineer Ron Nelson, motion to approve a contract with Peak Pavement Marking LLC to perform work at the intersection of Adabelle Road and Kennedy Bridge Road that includes refreshing the current striping, replacement of existing signage, and installation of new signage along the 4 roadway approaches at this intersection. Cost of this work will be funded by T-Splost.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Commissioners. So a little history on this right here. So on August 25th, 2025, the engineering office coordinated with Hofstadter and Associates Engineering Group to request an intersection control evaluation to be performed at the intersection of Adabelle Road and Kennedy Bridge Road, which is south of Register and south of I-16. Kennedy Bridge Road is currently a 2-way stop condition, and Adabelle is a through condition at this intersection. Mr. Chad Hofstadter and Hofstadter Associates responded on September the 8th, 2025, with a scope and fee proposal to include a traffic engineering report, intersection control evaluation, and a high-level schematic plan for a total fee of $15,000. The proposal was executed on September 9th, 2025, and notice to proceed was effective immediately. The final draft of the traffic engineering report, intersection control evaluation, was completed and provided to the county on October the 27th, 2025, and was subsequently revised December the 18th, 2025. And an executive summary of the report was provided that includes the following. Summary of the operation level of acceptance. It was found to be a level of service A. The intersection operates acceptably. Signal warrants, it did not require any type of signal at this intersection at this time. The intersection control evaluation findings were that an all-way stop condition was also not recommended at this intersection. Basically, the near-term safety enhancements include upgrade of the existing stop sign, add stop-ahead signs as well prior to the stop conditions along Kennedy Bridge Road, placement of new LED flashing assemblies on the stop signs along Kennedy Bridge Road, refresh and enhance pavement markings, advance symbols and stop bars as well. Evaluate and adjust the rumble strips along Kennedy Bridge Road. So we'll have new rumble strips along Kennedy Bridge Road. Vegetation trimming on the west approach to restore sight distance, and we've coordinated with Public Works to handle that. Supplemental delineation on westbound approach, which will involve some chevron signs on the westbound approach of Kennedy Bridge Road moving towards the intersection. And install cross-road ahead signs in advance of the intersection as well along Kennedy Bridge Road. The County Engineering Office released a request for quote on December the 5th, 2025, with a submission deadline and opening date of December 19th, 2025. No quotes were received. Again, the County Engineering Office released a second request for quote on February the 3rd, 2026, with a submission deadline and opening date of February the 19th, 2026. The responses that were received were as follows. Peak Pavement Marking LLC bid $28,069.20 for the work. Midstate Striping Incorporated bid $34,393.60 for the work. Midstate Construction and Striping bid $30,578.80 for the work. The procurement was performed in accordance with county policy, and we coordinated throughout the process with Procurement Director, Mr. Peyton Fuller. Therefore, the County Engineering Office recommends approval of the quote from Peak Pavement Marking LLC in the amount of $28,069.20 to perform work at the intersection of Ada Bell Road and Kennedy Bridge Road that includes refreshing the current striping, replacement of existing signage, installation of new signage along the 4 roadway approaches at this intersection, and the cost of this work will be funded by T-Splost. Any questions?
Any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, I'm going to call for a motion on this item.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. I believe that concludes all of our new business and leads us into commission and staff comments. Or any comments from the county manager to staff? Chief Tapley, you look like. No, he doesn't. Okay. Never mind. I guess you're not talking tonight. Any comments from the commissioners?
Just I'd like to thank the rec department. I'd like to thank all of our staff, everybody that works for the county and works for the people in this county. I'd like to thank all of you for the job y'all do. The rec department, Farmer Appreciation Dinner, hands down, great job. Y'all, it looks really good. Y'all doing good. And one more, thank you to the warden, cleaning up a few messes for us in the county. We're trying to get back operational, hopefully by May. As far as the trash pickup, just letting everybody know we are. But if you do have a problem with any of your roads, give it me, the ward, and any of the commissioners up here. We're gonna patchwork it, but we're gonna go back out full steam in May. So that's a plus for what we haven't been here lately. So other than that, thank you for everybody doing the job, and I appreciate every one of you. If y'all need anything from me, call me.
Just got a couple quick announcements here. One, I'd like to remind everybody that we're going to be having our open house at Bullitt County Fire Station number 16. That's out on Highway 67 on the 9th of March from 4 to 6 p.m. The address is 16399 Highway 67. We'd like to see everybody come out and see this. We're very proud of this fire station and what it's provided for our community here. So got another thing that I'd like to do here. And I'm going to provide this to Venus so she can add it to the evidence for the meeting. But I received a letter on the 24th of February from a gentleman named Mike Nickerson of the Florida Peacekeepers Cowboy Mounted Shooting Association. And briefly, what he says in here is that he worked in fire and emergency services for over 31 years, and he has coordinated over 25 different equine events at 25 different equine arenas. And he said, without a doubt, Billy Springer was an absolute pleasure to work with, and his complete knowledge of horse-related events, professionalism, and understanding of every facet of the ag complex operations was obvious and undeniable. Billy leads by example and takes extreme pride in the facility upkeep and smooth operation. In my 26 years of promoting CMS events, I've never seen a better managed ag complex. And then he goes on to say that He wants to thank the Bullock County Board of Commissioners, County Manager Chris Eldridge, and the Recreation and Parks Director Dee Cosby for creating, funding, and staffing the Bullock County Ag Complex, as your efforts have delivered an absolute first-class facility. Just wanted to put that out there so that everybody could see that, and I'm going to give that to Venus so she can share it. The last thing that I have for the evening is I just want to clarify something here. John Adams was the second president of the United States, and Thomas Jefferson was the third president of the United States. If you know, you know. With that being said, I think that, well, unless the commissioners have anything else they'd like to add,
No, you don't. I wasn't gonna call you out on
well, hey, I'll admit it when I'm wrong.
You was good.
So, any other questions or comments from the staff? All right, we're going to call for a motion to conclude our meeting for the evening.
Mr. Chairman.
All in favor? Motion carries unanimously.